Sometimes a small change can lead to a major advantage. And that's exactly what happened last night for the Knicks when Tom Thibodeau made a massive change to the starting lineup, having Miles McBride start with Jalen Brunson and having Precious Achiuwa come off the bench. What happened after that was absolute magic. Not only did Jalen Brunson go off, but one of the main reasons the Knicks won that game was because of Deuce McBride. We're going to break down exactly what happened last night, the change that Tom Thibodeau made, and why Deuce McBride was so effective with this lineup. All of this and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks make a crucial change to the starting lineup that leads to a massive Game 5 win. It was a must-win game for the Knicks. They needed to win this game. They could not go on the road down a game. But thankfully, they don't have to think about that. And why? It's because Tom Thibodeau did exactly what you expected him to do. It was the playoffs. We needed to make an adjustment. What we were doing the last two games was not working. He went back to the drawing board. He thought about what he could do. And then he made the following lineup change, and it led to success for the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau started the following players against Indiana for Game 5. Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, looking at this lineup on the surface, you might be thinking to yourself, it's a little bit small. And if you're saying that, I can understand why. However, the Deuce McBride starting lineup gives the Knicks something that the Precious Achiuwa starting lineup never gave them. Another player on the floor that can consistently shoot the three. You know what that does for the Knicks? It gives them another shot creator that Indiana has to worry about. Another shot creator that Indiana has to throw a defender to. And if that's the case, that means one less defender on Jalen Brunson, one less defender clogging the paint. That means more room to operate for Jalen Brunson. And that's exactly what you saw. Not only that, but Deuce McBride was giving Jalen Brunson a lot of screens, freeing him up, letting him go into the paint, and allowing him to cook even more. That's what Deuce was giving him. And if they threw two defenders on Jalen once he got into the paint, he would just pass the ball out to the three-point line, back to Deuce, and Deuce would make them pay with the three. That's what the Knicks were giving you. That's what this starting lineup change did for the Knicks. You have to give a lot of credit to Tom Thibodeau. He recognized the change, he made it, and it led to success. But even though he made the change, you also have to give credit to Deuce because it's also up to the player to be able to step up in the moment. And Deuce stepped up in this moment. He was a big contributor, and he was a main factor, a main reason why the Knicks closed out Indiana in Game 5 and lead this series 3-2, headed back on the road to Indy for Game 6, where I feel the Knicks are absolutely going to close out Indiana, finish this series, and go on to the Eastern Conference Finals. But as of right now, we deserve to celebrate this win. Tom Thibodeau made the adjustment, and the Knicks got the victory. The Knicks take a 3-2 lead. Final score, 129-91. And the man of the game was definitely Jalen Brunson. We're going to get to him. But before we do, one of the main questions that's normally asked at this point is, if a team has a 3-2 lead on another team, what's the chances that that team is going to win the series? Well, if that's your question, I have the answer. According to ESPN, the winner of a Game 5 in a best-of-7 series tied at 2-2 has gone on to win the series 82% of the time. So I got to say, I have a lot of faith in the fact that the New York Knicks are going to go to Indiana, close them out in Game 6, and head back to MSG to probably face Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's likely what's going to be waiting for them, but we're not skipping any steps. We still have Game 6 to look forward to, and we have to close out Indiana. We cannot leave it up to fate, and we cannot come back to MSG to play Game 7. I don't care if we have home court advantage. Sometimes, even though you have home court, that doesn't guarantee you a victory. The Knicks have to control their own destiny, go on the road, be that good road team that we know they can be, and close out Indiana. And given this stat, it seems that's exactly what the Knicks are going to do. Going to the game breakdown here, shout out to Fred Cash from The Athletic for giving us the following information. Final score again, Knicks 121, Pacers 91. Knicks again lead the series 3-2, and that's a very good feeling to have. Brunson, 44, 4, and 7. Josh Hart, 18, 11, and 3. Deuce, 17 and 4. Alec Burks off the bench, just showing up in the games you need him to show up in. 18 and 5, 5 of 8 from the three-point line. Hartenstein, 7, 17 and 5. Talk about impactful. That's what you call an adjustment. We saw what happened in game 3. We saw what happened in game 4. We were not winning. We were getting beat. And another thing was happening. When Achiuwa was in the lineup, a Pacers defender really wasn't on him like that because you weren't expecting Achiuwa to do a lot on offense. He was there primarily for defense on Pascal Siakam. And even though that was the case, Siakam was basically defeating himself. And I think the Knicks were seeing that. And because of that, they thought about making the change of having Josh Hart guard him and then having more instant offense in the lineup with Deuce McBride. And you know what? It absolutely worked. I didn't anticipate Deuce McBride to be a screener for Jalen Brunson, though. That caught me a little bit by surprise. But he did that, and he did that a lot. It freed up Jalen Brunson a lot of the times. It let Jalen Brunson get open in the paint, and he torched the Pacers, no matter who was on him. They put a lot of defenders on him, a lot of defenders with size on him, but it didn't matter. He still torched them. He still gave the Knicks 44. The Pacers did everything they possibly could against Jalen Brunson, but it didn't work. They threw a number of defenders on Jalen Brunson. It still didn't work. And even when they thought they had him figured out, they didn't. Jalen Brunson still got off. He still scored. And in the process, Jalen Brunson sent a message to Indiana. I look healthier. I feel healthier. The Knicks haven't forgotten what you did to us in game 4. Here's our response in game 5. And in game 6, we are closing you out. You are not coming back to MSG for a game 7. The Knicks are going back to MSG, but that's only to get ready and prepared for the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what's awaiting us. That's what our destiny is. And we're going to control it by closing out Indiana in 6. And as I mentioned, Jalen Brunson looked phenomenal last night. He looked like his old Jalen Brunson self, and that foot injury that he was dealing with, it looked like it was not hurting him at all in game 5. And we are so thankful for it. Because of what he was doing for the Knicks and because of the way he was getting open, he was able to drop 44 points with 7 assists on 51% shooting with 43 minutes played. He was a game best 31. Oh, and by the way, this is just his only 5th 40-point game this playoffs. 5th. 5 of them. Jalen Brunson has just been phenomenal for this Knicks team. If Jalen Brunson is healthy again, or at least close to healthy again, and he's looking like the Jalen Brunson of game 1 or game 2 against Indiana, the Pacers better be very scared because Jalen Brunson is likely going to go off when they see the Pacers again in game 6 because we know how Jalen Brunson is on the road. Normally on the road, he performs better. Honestly, against the Pacers, he was dealing with that foot injury. But now it seems like that injury is a thing of the past. I hope it is, because if it is, and the Knicks have a healthy Jalen Brunson going into game 6, they are absolutely closing out the Pacers. And I have a feeling that Jalen Brunson is going to go off again and give you another huge game. But he had a little bit of help. He didn't do it by himself. Josh Hart, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. And we already spoke at length about Deuce McBride and his impact for this team. But just to go over his stats again for last night, 17 points, 3 threes, and 4 assists. Deuce McBride was definitely a game changer for the Knicks last night. But if we're going to talk about game changers, I think it's only right that we speak about the following 2 players, starting with our center, Isaiah Hartenstein. He took it on himself to own up to all the problems in game 4. He said he didn't come out with the right energy, and he said he was going to do better. And talk about standing on business. Hartenstein tied a Knicks playoff record with 12 offensive rebounds and 7 points and 5 assists. He tied Charles Oakley for the most offensive rebounds in Knicks playoff history. What a response from Hart. That's how you stand on business. That's how you make an impact. When he was out there, each and every time a rebound was coming down, you just felt Hart gravitate to it, grab it, and just take all of the soul out of the Pacers when he was doing it. Because think about this. You fight and fight and fight for 24 seconds. And then the Knicks put the ball up with, let's say, 3 seconds to go. And then Hart gets the rebound again, and then you have to deal with 14 more seconds. That is debilitating for a team. And each and every time you do it and you don't get rewarded for it, you stop doing it. And that's exactly what happened to Indiana. Hartenstein himself beat them down and just beat them into submission, made them stop going for rebounds. And that's why Hart was able to get so many offensive rebounds. He had 17 rebounds, right? Out of the 17 rebounds he had, 12 of them were offensive rebounds. That is insane. He tied a Knicks playoff history record with Charles Oakley at 12. That is insane, folks. That doesn't happen on an everyday basis. The fact that Hartenstein was able to do that shows you his impact for this team. It also shows you he is going to get the bag this offseason. His impact right now is leading to him getting a massive payday. And that's why Hart was able to get so many offensive rebounds. He had 17 rebounds, right? Out of the 17 rebounds he had, 12 of them were offensive rebounds. That is insane. He tied a Knicks playoff history record with Charles Oakley at 12. That is insane, folks. That doesn't happen on an everyday basis. The fact that Hartenstein was able to do that shows you his impact for this team. It also shows you he is going to get the bag this offseason. His impact right now is leading to him getting a massive payday. But what about Alec Burks? 23 minutes, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 5 threes. Burks has been on the bench for the Knicks for weeks. DNP, coach's decision. Not played, not built up that chemistry. And then, just because of injuries, just because we need more bodies, we call Burks. We need him to come in. We need him to have an impact. Do something when you're out there. And not only does he do something, he is one of the most impactful players off the bench for the Knicks. Again, 23 minutes, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 5 threes, coming off of the bench when he had no rhythm and no chemistry built up weeks ago. And this is what he's doing for the Knicks. And not only this game, he did it the previous game as well, too. And because he's doing this, he has helped the Knicks win games. He has carved out more time for himself. And moving forward in this postseason, get ready to see more Burks minutes because you're absolutely going to see it. This Knicks team is taking Game 6. We are closing out Indy. They are not coming back to MSG. They are not coming on a plane and heading back to MSG. The only way they do that is if they do it on their own accord just to see the Knicks play whoever they're going to play in the Eastern Conference Finals. Other than that, the Knicks are closing out Indiana in 6, and then we are going back to MSG to rest, recover, and wait and see who we're going to face in the ECF. That's what's going to happen. That's our goal. That's our destiny. That's what we've been building for, and we've been going for this entire season. And we're not going to stop now. We're not done yet. Job's not finished. Indiana, we're looking at you. Game 6. You might think you have the advantage because you're back home and the Knicks are on the road. The Knicks are going to kill that narrative in the first quarter. When Jalen goes off and you guys are going to try so hard to stop him, you're not going to be able to. And Jalen's going to continue to cook and cook until it takes away all of your faith, all of your belief, and all of your confidence. And once that happens, the Knicks are going to close you out, head back to MSG, and make sure we get ready for our next matchup while you guys get ready for vacation. But what about you guys? What did you think about the Knicks going up 3-2 on the Indiana Pacers and the sensational game by Jalen Brunson and this Knicks team closing out the Pacers 121-91? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button. Leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.